Hello and welcome to Space Facts. Today we're going to talk about the search for extraterrestrial life, a personal favorite, as well as our own experience with the WOW signal. The search for extraterrestrial life is a topic that has captured people's imaginations since ancient times. Today, we're closer than ever before to discovering life on other planets. But there's still so much we don't know. That's why it's important that we keep searching. In today's story, we will walk you through the so-called WOW signal. So sit back, relax, and grab a cup of coffee as we dive into this mysterious story of thrill and adventure. In 1959, Cornell University physicists Philip Morrison and Giuseppe Cocconi had speculated that any extraterrestrial civilization attempting to communicate via radio signals might do so using a frequency of 1420 megahertz, 21 centimeter spectral line, which is naturally emitted by hydrogen, the most common element in the universe, and therefore likely familiar to all technological advanced civilizations. Meanwhile, John D. Krause, the director of Ohio Sky Survey, OSARO, at Ohio State University, and in 1967 hired by Jerry Ehman to work as a radio astronomer with their Big Ear telescope. Ehman graduated from college with a degree in physics from the University of Buffalo, now sunny Buffalo, and then went on to earn an MA and PhD from the University of Michigan. He worked as a data analyst for the OSARO, but when funding was cut off, he continued working as a volunteer. One late evening in the summer of 1977, August 15, while Jerry sat down to review the latest batch scrolling through the computer-generated printouts from the telescope, to the untrained eye, which would look like nonsense. But to Dr. Ehman, the data meant that Big Ear had picked up a very strong signal that started out low, increased in strength, and then dropped off again. The signal contained a string of letters, U-E-L, and numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are all followed by long strings of ones and twos with a low background hum. As the telescope sweeps across the sky, it momentarily lands on something quite extraordinary, causing its signal to surge. A computer shifts from numbers to letters and then keeps climbing all the way up to U. The ratio of its power, a measure of intensity, to background noise, which is what we call the signal-to-noise ratio, SN, was astonishing. SN of 30 by 1 is a very good result for a space signal. In this particular intensity scale, a space character denoted an intensity between 0 and 1, that is between baseline and 1 standard deviation above it. The numbers 1 to 9 denoted the correspondingly numbered intensities from 1 to 9. Intensities of 10 and above were indicated by a letter. A corresponded to intensities between 10 and 11, B to 11 to 12, and so on. The signal's highest measured volume was U, an intensity between 30 and 31. That is 30 standard deviations above background noise. Consequently, Dr. Ehman was astonished by this and wrote the word WOW and circled it, after which the signal was now known to be as the WOW signal. The famous alphanumerical digits 6EQUJ5 did not look like it came from any radio station. It most definitely came from a fixed point in the sky. Analysis of the signal showed that it displayed all the hallmarks of coming from interstellar space, and it became something of a cause celebre for those involved in SETI. The SETI project at Big Ear lasted 24 years, making it the longest continuous SETI search in history. But during that time, investigators got nothing but the WOW signal. Ehman also claims that we may never know exactly what he discovered that day. We couldn't draw any conclusions other than it certainly could have been a signal from an extraterrestrial intelligence, Ehman said. Following this, Big Ear's death came just a few years after Congress ruled in 1993 to investigate extraterrestrial intelligence, which was not worth the taxpayer money. the observatory lost $100,000 a year in funding from NASA, plus another $50,000 allocated for a device that could give Big Ear new life. By 1998, Ohio State University had demolished the telescope. However, despite many attempts to follow up on the find, the so-called wow signal has never reappeared. In the 40 years since then, some have claimed that the signal was produced by extraterrestrial life. Some say it's because of the stars. Many people have theorized what caused the signal, but no consistent explanation has been given. Today, the internet is buzzing about new evidence from Antonio Paris, an associate professor of astronomy at the University of St. Petersburg, Florida, and a former U.S. Department of Defense analyst. The signal was probably produced by a comet. Paris and his team learned that two comets, 266P Christensen and P2008Y2 Gibbs, were passing through part of the sky. These astronomers believe the signal came from a hydrogen cloud accompanying the comet. Paris admits it is not certain that the wow signal was generated by Comet 266P Christensen. However, his team concludes that the 1977 wow signal was a natural phenomenon generated by a comet. But to conclude aliens or not, this was a pretty good discovery when you look at the bigger picture from where we stand. Space is as big as the mind could ever comprehend. No matter how much we discover, there will always be more. But this little unique signal proved that mankind is keen on finding out whether we are alone in this universe or not. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. Until next time, ciao.